Can't quite get over the line.
Live. Got anything good to say? Keep it clean, he says. Take it, mate.
Craig Williams here from Craig Williams Ultra. In this little video I want to talk to you about a recent adventure that I had on Snowdon. So the plan was to do a triple ascent of Snowdon, Snowdon being the highest mountain in Wales, if you don't know. We decided we was going to do the 3 most challenging routes in 12 hours. Okay, so 3 times up, 3 times down, within 12 hours along the most challenging routes. One of the routes would be along a very prominent ridge called Crib Goch. It's quite infamous in the Snowdon area because that's the toughest little bit. Now, it's by no means a climb or a scramble, but if the weather is pretty crap, it's extremely dangerous. So the plan was to do that first of all, then move on to the Watkin Path, and then finally along the South Ridge and down the Rideau Path. Okay, so that's kind of the plan. Now, in the military, you learn very quickly that no plan survives contact with the enemy. And actually, we woke up that day and the weather probably couldn't be any worse. It was really strong winds, gusting up to 50, 60 mile an hour on the summit of Snowdon, incredibly wet. Like, at one point, I was walking along and I said, you know, why are we walking up this stream? Why don't we get on the path? And someone said, well, this is the path. You know, just constant running water down the hill. You know, as soon as we stepped off, we were just pretty much drenched to the bone, regardless of the amount of Gore-Tex and waterproofing that we had on. Everything was pretty much just wet. Like no clothing is gonna maintain its waterproof abilities in conditions like that, because water just seeped up your sleeves, up your trousers. You know, it's just soaking into the seams and all that. And the weather was pretty naff. That said, it was an incredible day. It was a really good day. It was good to get out with the Green Yeti team. This is a team that are getting together. You know, we're planning on taking on Mont Blanc in July as a bit of a charity evolution for the Royal Marines charity. And it's a group of mainly ex-Marines that are looking to just sort of give something back by doing a couple of challenging events. Now we've kind of got on the far side of 40, some of them the far side of 50, trying to stay in the game really, of which I really class myself as one of those. So we stepped off about 5 o'clock in the morning, all right? It was still dark, and after a good safety brief by Baz Gray, who's an Antarctic explorer, and he's kind of running the whole thing and he's going to take us up Mont Blanc. We kind of stepped off and started on what would be a really, really good pace for everybody. It meant everybody could stick together in those crappy conditions, and we just made our way up. We soon realised we just will not be able to take on Crib Got, despite everyone's, you know, great intentions and everybody's willingness to give it a crack. It just wasn't safe, you know. It wouldn't have been safe. I think everybody that goes in the mountains and into the hills at some point will slag off people that go that are underprepared and all this, you know, how they become a statistic and they've got to get pulled off the mountain by the mountain rescue and all that. If we'd have tried to take on Crib Got, we could have become one of those statistics or one of those types of people that everybody hates and gets wound up by. So we just decided it'd be best just to get straight up the pig track, which is, you know, prominent, bit of a touristy route, straight up to the summit, and then head down the Watkin path as we'd kind of planned. And I think it was a good idea. You know, it's very easy for ego to get in the way. And it's just good that we just kind of made a decent decision on the ground and cracked on. And it was still a challenge, like, you know, when we got up to the top, really was gusting, it was cold, everybody was wet and pretty miserable. So I've got to admit, when we got to the top, we got to the summit, and me and Marty went up to sort of get on the actual summit where the trig point is, and it was blowing an absolute reason why I'm talking now and doing this voiceover, this talking head video for this is that, you know, I had every intention of vlogging and talking on the mountain, but because of the wind and the conditions, you just couldn't hear anything. So you got my boring face on the video. I'm sorry about that. So as me and Marty got to the top, you know, I got the GoPro out and it just gusted, and I thought the GoPro was absolutely going to get blown out of my hand, but luckily it didn't. We dropped off the summit then down onto Watkin Path, and made our way to kind of a change around point. I think everybody changed their clothing and had a bit of a, you know, swap round of different stuff, changed different Gore-Tex bottoms, changed the footwear, because they were just so wet and drenched. Ready for the second ascent. On the way up, it was just, you know, constant flowing water on all the paths. There was just water kind of running into our boots, into our shoes, and you know, the weather really wasn't any different. As we was getting close to the summit of Snowdon, we kind of thought, you know what, we've probably done enough for today. You know, we've braved these sort of conditions, and what are we going to get really from another ascent? So we decided that, you know, two would be enough, and we'd head down the miners track, so at least we're doing a different route on the way back down, and pretty much call it a day. And it was definitely the right idea. We ended up doing just short of 30 kilometres, which is a good little training hike. We got to work together, which is brilliant, in preparation for Mont Blanc. And we didn't risk any kind of injury or fatigue or anything like that with anybody in the group. So personally, I thought it was the right call, and it made for a really enjoyable day. I think if we'd have done it again, and I'm under no illusion, you know, everyone had been able to get up there and get down again, I don't know what we'd have got from it. As I was coming down the miners track, anyone that's done that little route before, you'll know that you pass a couple of little lakes, and I've never seen the wind batter these lakes like it was that day. You know, the wind was just whipping up waves. It looked like the whole water was just getting forced down the hill because of the weather conditions. It was a shame we didn't get to see some of the beautiful views, the amazing views that you can get from Snowdon, but I'm sure we'll get up there again in the coming months, ready for as we prepare and get ready for Mont Blanc. you.